Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Texas Guitar Society. Today, we're going to have a very important topic that I consider that we should all think about, and it's insurance. Believe it or not, sometimes there are some rainy days where things don't go the way we want it, and it's better for us to be prepared. I had friends that their instrument got damaged by one of their students, or some friends that got their instrument stolen. I have friends that had their equipment just go and not working anymore. And I always knew that there was a way for us to protect all these things for very little money. But I am not an expert. I have no idea how these things work. So we have a guest today, Miss Angela Virgen. We met each other because she is the insurance provider to my family, and I was on the process of getting an apartment, and I got recommended to her. So she's recommended throughout my family, and she decided to come here and share with us all the information that she knows for musicians. Something very interesting, and the reason why she was invited to this show, she's actually a singer. She's actually a musician, and she has a music degree. So she understands the world of the musicians and how things work and how we think most of the time. So Angela, thank you so much for joining us today. And now I'm going to let you talk.
No, thank you so much. That was such a sweet introduction. And I, just in the short time that I've gotten to know Sir Abraham and oh my gosh, his family, everybody's just so kind. And if I had clients like that all day, every day, it would be a better place. So it's good. No, but thank you so much for having me. Yeah, so why insurance? That's definitely not the first thing that anyone wakes up and they're like, yeah, I'm going to be an insurance broker. I'm going to sell insurance. Nope, I don't even like dealing with my own insurance. That's for sure. But there's a lot more to it than I guess meets the eye, and a lot of ways that it's the old saying, you don't need it until you need it. So you don't even think about it until you might come into a situation where you might have to use it, and hopefully you're not stuck without it. So a little bit about me. I am an insurance broker for Goosehead Insurance. And so what that means is I can shop over 30 plus carriers. And so with that, I typically just find the best priced option and the best coverage. And then I go with that and just really do what's best for my clients. And a lot of different situations. Maybe you've got a guitar collection, maybe you like firearms or furs, whatever it is, I can help you take care of it. But yeah, first and foremost, I went full time with music before the pandemic hit. So I was going to do a Texas tour with my band. We had like the drummer and a bassist going, and we were gonna have this whole thing, and then the world just kind of stopped for everybody. So changed gears, and I had a friend that reached out to me and they said, what about insurance? I'm like, what about insurance? What about it? But I saw the immense opportunity that I had to help people, and especially during the time of COVID and a lot of financial uncertainty. And I jumped at it because the reason why I wanted to do music was not only to express myself, but to help people kind of go through their own times as well. Like if I was the soundtrack to a breakup or a makeup or whatever, that is what it's all about. So I was able to save people on average $500 more. I mean, I've saved people $1,200 a year, and I've really seen the difference that it's made families. And also I've seen people just months ago when I've signed them up, they make a claim and they're actually covered for it. So that's pretty rewarding. And I hope that what I teach you today, you can take that and run with it and not have to be in a situation where you're paying a crazy high deductible or you don't have coverage for something, and you can tell your friends. She'll tell your friends. But yeah, this is a very open forum. I want you to be able to jump in and ask a question, raise your hand. If there's something that you're unclear about or something that you're just like, well, you didn't cover this, what about this? I would absolutely love to, jump on it versus, chunk of a presentation and then questions at the end. So it's been a long day. I've been up since 5, so I don't expect y'all to have to sit through a long presentation. So I'm going to share my screen, and let's go here. And this is my first Zoom presentation, by the way. So thank you so much, Abraham, for walking me through this. All right, let's see. Share the right screen here. Okay, so can y'all see that?
Yes, we can see it perfectly.
Okay, sweet. And it's going to stay this way just because I don't want to put it in like full screen and mess something up. So thank you so much for your patience. But yeah, cover yourself. Insurance and the musician. Everybody has to have insurance, but not everybody has to have insurance covering their instrument or covering, just a lot of your items. So brass tacks topics, new one about the whole about me thing. But yeah, why insurance and why now? So there's also more than home and renter's auto covering your instruments, and then tips and tricks, Q&A if we haven't hit some topics already, and then evangelize, because I hope that you share this knowledge to the world. So of course did a little bit about the about me. There's my Instagram, you can check me out. I do not share this Instagram with a lot of people at work because I like to keep my projects separate. It's just a little bit more fun that way. But yeah, so a couple of fun things. I worked with the Grammy Award winning team to produce Conoce America. That was a Discovery Go original on an app. So as a content creator, that was something I was able to do. We were, making music for that in the background. I've collaborated and had mentors. Robert L. Smith, he's worked with everyone from, Michael Jackson, Lady Gaga, all the stuff. He's a sound engineer. He's awesome. And then Stephen Wolf, really cool drummer. He's been on like Katy Perry's stuff, Beyonce's stuff, basically program drummer extraordinaire. And then Mark Minza, he's actually a Dallas local. He's amazing. Love him, love him. He did all the Jimmy Neutron stuff and Dragon Ball Z. So pretty fun. But why insurance and why now? So yeah, everybody has to have auto insurance. You've got to have it. Everybody has to have home insurance when you buy a house, but not everybody has to have insurance for your instruments. So just, I guess, before we get started, who has insurance covering any of their musical equipment? I mean, anything at all. If anybody does, chime in. Let me know what you're covered for. I'm really curious to know.
I do not have any insurance on anything of my instruments or anything on my equipment. So that it is a very important topic for me.
For sure.
I actually I called my insurance company before to see if they could cover some of my equipment and my instruments, and they just told me like flat out that I wouldn't need it because it would just be covered under the home insurance. But I'm not sure if that's legit or not.
That's a great question. So yes and no, I guess, is a really good answer for that one. It's all, it depends. In my past life, I did law school for a year before deciding that's definitely not what I wanted to do. And the entire answer was, it depends. And so I can't escape that sentence. So yeah, you do have content coverage on your renter's insurance and your home insurance. And typically it's, 40% of what your home was worth, like $100,000 or 80,000 or something like that. But the thing is, in the event of a fire or theft, if the chances of you having photos of everything that you've lost and allocating it to everything is next to impossible. I mean, you're grabbing your laptops, you're grabbing everything you can to get out of your house in the event of an incident like a fire or something. And it's kind of hard to prove without receipts how much, maybe a $2,500 Martin, D guitar or, a synth. So these are things that are additional protections for you at a really low cost that can ensure you to get covered for those items no matter what. So scheduling items is something that's really interesting, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But for all of mine, just to give you an idea, I have a $3,500 guitar, $1,500 keyboard, and then my husband plays cello, way cooler than I am. But it's like a student cello. It's barely over 10,000, but all of that was $71 to add to my home insurance. That was it. And it covers for a lot of peace of mind, and they're line items that are individually listed. So, but what about anybody else? That's amazing that you actually asked about it, because that's something that really doesn't occur to you until it's gone. But anybody else cover your stuff?
I don't think we have any participants.
No, it's all good. I see like some stuff in the chat also, which I'm afraid to navigate away from the chat. So if there's anything,
Oh,
just
no
let me
worries.
know.
Yeah, I can read the comments
Okay.
for you. So
Oh,
Hannah
perfect. I
says
didn't-
yes, hi, and Anush says yes. He does have insurance,
Okay,
and
sweet.
Eliza says I think yes, I also have insurance.
That's phenomenal. And that's really,
Yeah.
really good. There are things that you can have as addendums to your normal insurance that you can add. You can do group coverage, scheduled items for large or for single ones, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So I'm so happy that y'all are like advanced on this, because when they asked me and I was getting my home insured, my eyes were like glazing over. I'm like, I have to insure more things. Okay, cool. So right. Let's see here. So more than just home and auto. So already in Texas, I don't know if y'all know this, but it's one of the most expensive states for insurance for home and auto ever. I mean, we've got tornadoes, we've got high winds, we've got hail, we've got floods, hurricanes because of the coast, droughts. I mean, snow from the last thing. If anybody's pipe burst, I am so sorry that you had to deal with that, but insurance is just expensive all around in our lovely Lone Star State. Is everybody from Texas in here? Yeah, I guess we would be, right?
I am actually from Mexico, believe it or not.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I don't
But is
believe it.
everyone, I guess everyone living in, but does everybody live in Texas as of right now in the group, or do we have some out-of-staters?
I think everybody in the group is from Texas.
Okay, sweet.
I might be mistaken, but I believe everybody in the group.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, unfortunately, like some states like North Dakota, it's very expensive. So yeah, average auto price per month is $152, and that's actually pretty conservative, because I've helped people with $300 a month, $400 a month on insurance and get that down. And home, because we have the coast and the lovely, things that happen there, and even out in the desert, there are flood zones. It's $3,000 a year. So with that, a lot of times you're thinking, why would I want to pay to insure something separately if I have this to deal with? And it's kind of frustrating. So it's a pain. Definitely shop around. Don't take no for an answer on anything, and that's including your coverage. If you're not sure about an answer, and if it's, whether it's us as a broker or anybody else, talk to your insurance, because what I was paying before was insane. I mean, I probably saved $100, $125 per month because I was paying what I could afford. And that left a lot of room. And it actually was the reason why I was able to put money into my guitar and some of my home studio recording things, because I took a look at my finances and I took a look at what I was actually paying. And I didn't realize that I didn't have to be paying that. And I had state minimum limits, and I was like, what's going on? I mean, it was an eye opener for sure. So cover your home or, rental property, whatever you have, car and guitar. So as I mentioned, I covered all of those items, and there was about $15,000+ for $72 per year.
Angela, we have a question in the chat, and it's
absolutely.
if we want to get insurance, do we need an appraisal of the instrument?
That's a really good question. So it depends on the worth. So when it comes to items over $2,500, I'd say either a receipt or an appraisal. If you have a receipt, that takes the place of an appraisal. But if you're not sure, if you've had it for a long time, it doesn't hurt, because that really does help you get the true value of your item without missing out on it and without second guessing. And many insurance companies, such as Travelers or Mercury Insurance, they will require you to have one or the other before insuring it. And I think they give you about 60 days to get that taken care of. So definitely enough time. You can always ask for an extension. So yeah. Good question.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so tips and tricks. This is something that's kind of interesting. So if you have an item that is $2,500 or more, I recommend individually scheduling them. So if you have a really nice guitar, or maybe you're really proud of, a certain, this sounds weird. I didn't realize that tuners could be such high value items, but yeah, no, there was this crazy $750 tuner that was a thing. And I was like, okay, this is amazing. They've got, all the bells and whistles. But if you have these individually, high price items, definitely schedule those, because that's something that if that, gets stolen, there's damage by fire, damage by, lighting, all of the normal perils of your home insurance, or something that would be, that you want those to be listed out by name. But if you have a lot of smaller items, let's say $30 ukulele here, maybe you've got, all kinds of gizmos and gadgets and, congas or something that you just want to have all together, you can say, I want $10,000 of group coverage for all of my items. And you can do your homework on your own and take individual pictures of those items, just to remind yourself in the case of a fire, keep it in a portfolio, or just, keep it on your phone. And that way you'll know exactly what to get covered for, but you can schedule those in a group as well.
We have a few questions again.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of our members says, I have a letter from my teacher of the value of the guitar. Will you consider that will work?
Oh, interesting. I've never been asked that before. It really is down to the underwriters. Now, underwriters are the academics of the insurance world. They're the, tell all the ones that you gotta pass this gate before you get this coverage kind of a thing. So it all depends on the insurance company. Some may take it, some may not. I think they want an official appraisal. But if your music teacher is, if they're trained in appraising that particular item, and if they have that certification to, actually have the knowledge behind it, I think that's fine. That would count as an appraisal.
And then we have another question. It says, home insurance won't cover my guitar if stolen or damaged while I am away from home. Will it?
Good question. So yeah, honestly, if say you go on vacation, and while you're on vacation, someone breaks into your home and your guitar gets stolen, or it just gets smashed to pieces, and you could prove that, somebody broke into your home, you've got a police report and all of that. Yes, that is your personal item that is covered. Now, when it comes to mysterious disappearance, that's where it gets a little dicey. You have to have some.
Oh, I'm so sorry. The question was if the guitar is away from home, not if the person is away from
I'm
home.
sorry. Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I read it wrong. Yeah.
No, that's totally fine. If it is with you, there are definitely some types of insurance that you can get for that. There are personal articles floaters that you can have, and personal articles typically would mean, like jewelry, something that you would carry with you. And so that's a specific type of insurance that is going to protect and kind of follow you around. And so it depends on what the use of the guitar is. If it's for, casual, you're taking it on vacation, and, a covered peril happens to it, then you can get that covered. But if it's used for business, you might want to look into a business policy for that. Because if you have an item that's used to make money, then you might want to schedule that or insure that in a different way.
Perfect. Thank you.
Was there anything else? I don't want to
not at the moment.
Okay, perfect. And I'm so sorry. I'm like trying to figure out how I can see the items there, but yeah. So Q&A. This is where I want to really open it up in terms of not just questions on, how to insure your specific items, but is there anything, literally anything, like ask your insurance agent if there was something about your car, your home, your instruments, your anything. I mean, short of health insurance and commercial insurance, what would you like to know? Why do you even need it? What do the split limits mean? Is it worth it? And yeah, I've met so many people that are like, insurance is a scam. You don't really need it. It's just part of the system. Like, I get it. And these are all questions that I've had too before I was licensed, and I really saw what it meant to not have it. So it's, yeah, anything that y'all have been wanting to know about it?
More than anything, if how could we really get a good policy that maybe covers all of the musicians' bubble, if that even exists? Because I have no idea. For example, if I play a lot of gigs,
Mhm.
right, a month, and then I happen to break my hand, is there a specific insurance for that kind of situations? Would you say, as well as I am working and one of my students hits my guitar and I have to make an expensive repair on the instrument,
Mhm.
or if I am driving from home to home or playing from concert to concert and I have my equipment with me and it gets stolen, is there a way for us as musicians to like create a package or
There
something like
really
that?
is. It's a little bit different from your typical personal lines like home and auto and, personal articles, floaters. That would be more along the lines of commercial insurance, and you can do a commercial insurance broker, because with that, that's your livelihood. You are carrying that item, with you where you go. That's, how you're making your money. And so they do have certain things that you can insure. Your instruments, you can insure, like, I think, I don't remember who it was. I'm going to make a wrong assumption here. Like, some star has insured like their legs for dancing, or but yeah, that's definitely a thing. Now, I will say, because it is specialty insurance, if you want to insure your hands, it is extremely expensive in a world that I don't really know that much about, but I do know it exists. And I do have connections to health and life insurance that they might have some specialty plans like that. I even have connections to commercial brokers, and then they do have policies that can help you insure your instruments when it's out on the road while you're making money. But most of the policies that we have are, your typical, weekend player, or if you just have these instruments in your home. But I would definitely think about a commercial policy if you are out on the road gigging in that. And commercial brokers are out there, and I can definitely help you get connected. And I have my contact information also here too.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then let's see. Go here. Okay, so this might sound silly, but evangelize. If you know anybody, literally anybody who is looking for a quote on, I don't know, if they need a personal articles floater, or if they need, better auto insurance, if they need anything to really help them get to where they're going, we actually have a policy that just came out. It's called a partnership with Go Insurance with Goosehead. And you can get 50% off of your auto insurance by providing a pay stub within 72 hours of getting the insurance. And it's if you're an essential worker of any kind. And most people qualify for this. And it's insane. It kind of sounds, when I first saw it, I was thinking, there's no way this is legit, but it really is. And it's something that can really help you kind of, I don't know, just save a little bit, treat yourself. But I've seen people save $150 a month. And this is pretty common to have. It's a 6-month policy, definitely worth looking into. If you refer anybody from this talk, say that they came from this talk, then yeah, absolutely. I'll throw in a $20 gift card for you, just to thank you so much for joining me in this talk and for sending somebody over to quote. They don't even have to buy insurance. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Anything that we can do, this is what we're here for. And I just want to get people on the road, get people gigging. But if you want to take a screenshot of this, this is my work cell and work email. You can call or text me anytime. Literally, my hours are 8 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. Sounds crazy, I know, but I want to be there for you, and if there's anything that you need. So, and this is honestly, I have people texting me random questions, and I would love to help, fill you in on the ins and outs of, like, I don't know, you're eating breakfast one day, you're like, what happens if this happens to my house? I got you covered. I think a question just came up.
Yeah, I can read the question for
Oh,
you. It
perfect.
says, in terms of insurance premiums,
Mhm.
how does it work in terms of radio versus the value?
I'm sorry, one more time.
I'll
Okay.
read it again. It says, in terms of insurance
Mhm.
premium, how does it work in terms of radio versus value? Maybe
Ratio.
we want to elaborate.
Ratio.
Oh, ratio. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Does that mean as far as like the amount of instruments that you have, or I guess I don't understand the question. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Can we elaborate a little bit more on the question so we can read it for Angela? Or you can unmute yourself and ask the question if you would
Yeah,
like to as well.
absolutely. We're all friends here.
Safe space.
Yeah, the question was the premium of the insurance versus the value of the instrument. In other words, if the instrument is $10,000, how much would be the annual premium on that instrument?
That's a great question. There's different brackets. It's kind of interesting. So depends on the company, but typically they'll have it either from 1 to 5,000 or from 1 to 10. And within that, it's a going rate per dollar. So if you have something that is $5,000, it's going to be priced at a different rate than if it's worth between $10,000 and $20,000, and how many items you have in that range. And it just really depends on the item, but every company is different. And so as a broker, I would look at companies like Travelers for their personal articles floater. Mercury has it nationwide, Allstate. We also look at Progressive. That's a really good one. I don't know, everybody kind of has their own thing. A Safeco with Liberty Mutual, they do have a few policies that are pretty amazing. And it really just depends on your zip code, your need, because what they're looking at is damage depending on covered perils in that sense. If you do schedule that in with your home insurance. So if it's fire, lightning, wind, hail, something, and it might sound silly to say like wind-driven rain, like how is that going to affect my instrument? Case in point, open window, instrument near the window, rainstorm, bye-bye guitar. It was not a good situation. And because it was a covered peril, insurance covered it. So yeah.
Angela, here's we have another question, and this is a very important one because a lot of us in the call travels overseas to play concerts and things like that. So what if you are in another country or in an airplane and something happens to the instrument? Does the homeowner insurance will still cover it, or for that particular situation you should have a different type of insurance?
That's a really good question. And thank you so much for asking questions. I truly appreciate it. This is my very first Zoom presentation. So thank you for making it so easy and so awesome. I really appreciate it. So again, if you are traveling, this would be more of a business insurance. And I feel so bad. I'm sorry that I don't know more about the business side of things, but I do know that along with auto policies, you've got your Mexico coverage or you've got your Canada coverage, and there's different things. There are same things with business. So you can, opt in for certain packages, you can opt in for, certain locations, and you can make sure that, air travel is very specific. So I would definitely ask them about these questions. And number one thing, never, never, never assume that something is covered. Always, always ask, because that's where the biggest issues come in. Where you're like, I thought I was covered. I thought that this was something that was in my policy, and you never can ask too many questions. So really explore those business policies if that is your bread and butter, and go get them. And I want to see everybody's YouTube stuff. I'm going to be following everybody on Instagram. I'm so excited to see y'all's music. This is awesome.
Yeah,
I
thank
had
you so
a
much.
little bit of a follow. Sorry, Abraham. I had a little bit of a follow up with that. This actually happened to a teacher of mine. He was explaining to me about how he was traveling, I think, to South America for some concerts, and he took his instrument on the plane, or he took his instrument to travel with him, but it was
Right.
considered luggage and not carry on. And
Oh,
so
okay.
it was his concert guitar at the time, and they threw it in the in the luggage area, right? I mean, like it
Oh,
was in the case, and it was fine up until
still, yeah.
the weather damaged the instrument, so it ended up cracking the top of the guitar, and that was his
Mm.
performance guitar, and he was really upset about it. Um, and he couldn't get anything from the airlines or anything. He talked about a musicians union. I'm not sure if you're familiar with a
Mm-hmm.
union coverage. Um, do you think that would be something that can be applied to this situation,
Yeah,
or?
so most of the things that I'm talking about would be like the main companies. You've got your big name insurance providers, and these are the ones. So insurance is a shared risk, right? So essentially, with all insurance, it's just a big pile of money that people, they pay their premium per month. And if somebody from that pile, a lot of people won't make claims, right? But if you do make a claim from that, it'll pay out. And if they pay out a little bit too much, like say if you have a zip code with a lot of tornadoes in it one year, your premium is going to go up the next year to make up for that. Same thing with a union. So if you have a group of people and it is, make sure it's financially backed, some kind of a certification that you will get covered. And if, there's some kind of fiduciary responsibility that's backed by law. But yeah, if there is a group of people that are putting in, per month, and it's a musicians union, or maybe it's a guitarist fund or something, yeah, absolutely, go for it. But make sure it is financially backed, because the worst thing you could do is pay every single month, and then whenever you have to make a claim, it's either not covered or just covered partially. So yeah, it's a great question.
Angela, could we get again the slide of your Instagram, because we have some members that are interested in
Oh,
following your
yeah.
music,
Yes.
and I know that you have released some music on Spotify as
Very
well,
little. I
right?
mean, it's so sad because I wish I had more to show for it. Yeah, I'll go up, and please don't judge me. I literally I was in month where was that? I was in month number 9, 8 or 9 on my musical journey. And this is spilling over into, 2020. My very first single that I released from everything was actually January 1st of 2020, and it was LDOTE, or Last Day of the Earth. Funny how that was literally the title of the song. I hate that that was the thing, but yeah, so I released that, and I had this entire marketing thing that we were going to go through, and we decided not to really go through and push it because we really couldn't play it and, evangelize and spread our music that way. So we kind of went low key and started publishing music for fun. Just in my current situation, it was just something that was the best for me. But yeah, there's not a lot out there. It's like 2, but my SoundCloud, and I completely forgot to put it on there. It's the same thing. It's auto music, but check me out on SoundCloud. I have a lot more projects that are in the works. I feel like I've got my feet under me. Y'all are so much more tenacious and incredible that y'all are doing your music thing, and I love it. So if you have some tips for me on how to stay, active in the whole music community, please, 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 please let me know, because hungry for it. It's good. And I'm getting some follows. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's just very fun to have a point of contact, right? Whenever, if we ever have a question, I will continue to recommend you, because you were
No,
so
I
kind
appreciate it.
whenever I was in the middle of the craziness of insurance purchases. So thank you so much. I think people can refer to you, send you texts or emails, and we really appreciate you coming, giving us this presentation. We have a comment that it says nice logo. So very, very good.
Awesome.
And
Thank you. Well,
thank
I
you
appreciate
for
it.
joining us today. And everybody, please share the message that next Monday, Trio Renaissance is gonna come to the Texas Guitar Society. They just released an album, and they are going to be sharing that with us, and they are gonna have some CDs available for purchase, so you can save $2 from here to next week, and then you can probably uh, $2 a day, and then you can buy a CD next Monday. And then after that, we're having Mr. Robert coming on in 2 weeks from now, and he's an investor expert. So sometimes musicians think that we are never going to be able to buy a Smallman or a Damon guitar or a Housed guitar, but that is not true. The way is that we have to start thinking into the future. We might be able to afford a guitar 12 years down the road, 13 years down the road, and he's going to show us, or at least he's going to explain us how we can set up an account that so we can save some money for an expensive instrument or maybe an expensive travel. And I just wanted to share that information with you guys. We have one last question, and it says, what if your instrument increases in value like a collectible limited edition guitar and it is destroyed, like to the point where it can no longer be appraised?
Man, there's some like interesting situations here. Y'all are thinking. That's intense. It sounds like a worst case scenario, but these things happen, so it's not crazy. There are things built into a lot of home policies as far as like dwelling limits go, that it actually accounts for appreciation now, or sorry, inflation. So with musical instruments, it's really different. A lot of insurance providers, they don't know the value of your instrument. So it's really up to you to keep them updated and say, you know, do your research, let them know, because most of the people, unless you are with a very specific provider, such as, you know, like you were saying, the union, or, you know, another company that's really going to know the value of that, then you have to just update them every single year upon renewal, make a little notification on your phone and remind yourself to say, hey, I'm going to go in, I'm going to increase my coverage by a little bit and make sure it's, you know, good to go. And if the price is a little bit too expensive, shop around, talk to a broker and see what works for you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And we'll see you everybody on the next edition of the Texas Guitar Society next Monday, 7:30. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming, and we'll see you next week. Have a great night. Bye-bye.